What's up, everybody? In this video I want to introduce you to some games that are coming out in the month of March that I think you might want to keep an eye on, or you might want to possibly look forward to. So we're just gonna jump right into it here. I do have these ordered from their release dates, so the earliest release date stuff is going to be at the front of the video, and towards the end of the video we're going to have the stuff that is releasing further out into March. So these are not ordered in level of hype by any means, but just purely based on their release date. So first up, we have a couple of things that just say that they're releasing in March in general, and they don't have a specific date. So the first thing here is going to be Burnit Quest. So Burnit Quest is a interesting sort of like PC game that you play, but you also use your phone. So you're going to connect your phone to your Burnit PC thing, and basically you're going to use it while you do exercises in order to play through levels. So they have things where you like need to swim, and in order to swim you have to do like jumping jacks and kind of like a swimming motion. You may have to do crunches, things like that. So it doesn't have a specific release date. It looks like the kind of game that is either going to be terrible, or it could actually be fun and motivate you to actually work out. I think this is pretty interesting, and I would definitely be willing to try it. I'm personally trying to lose some weight, and I always love being able to gamify my workouts. I really liked doing my cardio through VR when I had that set up, so this looks pretty cool. They also have it where you can do couch co-op here, and you can also like play against others in competitive tournaments and stuff. So it looks pretty interesting. Like I said, we don't know what specific date it's coming out, but it looks pretty cool. I think it's interesting. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on it. I have decided to follow it and just see how it turns out. Next, probably one of the most exciting things this entire month for me, the Jack Move Icebreaker Prologue is releasing. So Jack Move is one of my most anticipated games of 2022, and this is going to be a more expanded demo that's going to be available for the game. So this is essentially a prologue that you're going to be able to check out. It tells, I think, the first whole chapter of the story, so you'll be able to play it and check it out. The game is sweet. The game is awesome. I get a lot of like retro Final Fantasy vibes from this sort of game. It's got a gritty like cyberpunk feel. The animations are awesome. The soundtrack is awesome. It's just slated for March 2022, so I don't know what day it's coming out, but I'll definitely be linking it on the Discord, and 100% it should be free, so definitely check it out if you get the chance. Next up, we have a Nice Death. I believe we saw this originally during the Game Awards. They released a trailer for this, but this is a 2D action roguelike where you play as Death. And you're basically going to go through with your trusty scythe, and you're going to take down your enemies and kind of do your little platforming, that kind of stuff. The art style for this is absolutely fantastic. It's got a really cool concept and premise. I think they're doing a good job kind of incorporating the humor, and I think they just really have like their aesthetic and their idea really nailed down. This looks pretty good, and it's going to be releasing on March 8th. Next, a game I've been excited about for probably 2 years now. I did play the demo of this 2 Next Fests ago, I think, and that is Young Souls. Young Souls is a amazingly awesome looking 2D brawler. So if you played anything like Battletoads or Batman or Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, or any of those sorts of games, Streets of Rage, etc. This is a game in the similar vein to that. Like I said, the art style is great. It does have cooperative play between 2 players. I still don't know if it's online or not. It looks like shared split screen co-op right now. But the demo for this was awesome. The visuals, the soundtrack, the customization of the characters, and the way you can build them out and stuff all looked really great. I had a great time with the demo. Really looking forward to this, and this comes out March 10th. Next, we have Spirit of the Island. Spirit of the Island kind of looks a lot like Animal Crossing, I think. It does have online co-op here, but basically you're out on an island and you're You've got a cooperative life simulator where you're going to be able to farm and fish and raise animals and craft things. So yeah, it looks like a version of Animal Crossing. This is going to be coming out in early access on March 16th. Next up, we have Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So this is the latest in the Borderlands series. I'm not 100% sure whether or not I care about this game. Like, I, love the Borderlands series, particularly Borderlands 2. But the pre-sequel and 3 just didn't hit it for me. So I lost a lot of faith in the franchise over the course of those two games. And, this was one of the best DLCs for Borderlands 2, if not the best. And I think whether or not I play this game is going to come down to like the skill trees. I really didn't like a lot of the like on-kill stuff they were doing in Borderlands 3. But we'll see. It looks super interesting. If you don't know what it is, it's the latest Borderlands game, but it takes place in Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is essentially like a Borderlands mixed with D&D sort of setting where there's sorcery and magic and, skeletons and big dragons. So they get to play around with a lot of cool concepts here. And it tends to make, in my opinion, for a little bit more of an interesting setting and more interesting gameplay. So pretty excited about this. I don't think it's coming to Steam, but it is coming out in general on March 25th. Next we have Forward Escape the Fold. So this is a game that I have talked about recently, and it's just a pretty straightforward card game that I think has a lot of depth, a lot of replayability. It's very easy to pick up and play, but I think it's going to be pretty difficult to master. And it's the kind of game that you can just kind of sit down, and it doesn't require a lot out of you in terms of like, response times or physical effort or stuff. It's more puzzle. You just can kind of sit back and kind of figure out what you want to do, and try to make your way forward into the game. So this comes out on March 29th. This 100% was on my wish list, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting to pick it up and play it come March 29th. Next, we have Crystal Project. So this one is a little odd. I actually thought some aspects of this looked pretty interesting, so I wanted to put it on the list. This is probably not a game that I'm going to pick up or play, but if you're into these kind of retro JRPGs, this does look like a pretty interesting one. That's exactly what it is. It's a non-linear JRPG. You're going to wander around and find crystals and unlock classes, learn new abilities. You are a 2D character in this sort of like 3D world, kind of like a indie take on what they do in Octopath Traveler to an extent. I think like the graphics and everything look pretty solid for what they're doing here. It definitely doesn't look like something that was made with RPG Maker or anything like that. In particular, I think that the battles and stuff have a really good look and feel to them. So I don't know, I say it's something that I might not pick up, but it just does look pretty interesting. There's a demo available, so I'll probably check it out. And if I like it, I don't know. Depends on how much it is. But this is planned to come out on March 31st. Next up, we have Weird West. So Weird West, to me, is just kind of riding on the fact that it's created by the developers who did Dishonored and Prey. So it's from a pretty big studio here. It's a isometric, story-rich Western RPG, but it's got that element of weird in it, which usually means there's like some Cthulhu stuff going on. Typically, Weird West is like Cowboys meets Cthulhu. I don't know if that's actually the case here, but I'm seeing, tentacles, blood moon temples, creepy stuff. It does have a pretty interesting aesthetic, but this is one I haven't really seen a whole lot about so far, other than just hearing it and seeing a vague trailer here or there. But just based on the pedigree of the studio and the fact that we don't get a lot of Weird West settings, I think it's worth keeping an eye on. It is scheduled to come out March 31st. Next up, we have Core Keeper. Core Keeper is, it looks kind of like Stardew Valley in a mine, essentially. It's a endless cavern of creatures and things of that nature, and you can explore the caverns and work together with 1 to 8 other players and be able to fight bosses. This one popped up during the most recent Next Fest. I didn't get a chance to check it out. It looks like they did take the demo down, but I think that if you like stuff like Stardew Valley, maybe even if you like Terraria or like Dwarf Fortress or something like that, this is one that you might want to keep an eye on. Now, me personally, this is not the kind of game that I would get into solo, but it looks like it has enough going on that I would play this with friends who like to do the, crafting side of stuff, and I can focus on the fighting. So I do think it looks pretty interesting. It is scheduled to come out March 8th, so I guess I kind of put this one in the wrong spot. That's my bad. I must have dragged it to the wrong spot. But yeah, this one is out super soon. Next, we have Coromon. So Coromon is a Pokemon game. Essentially, it's a monster creature collector game. This is one that I have played a demo for. I thought that the overall aesthetic of the game and everything actually looked pretty good. You notice right back there on the video, you'll see here, there's 6 distinct biomes. There's a ton of different creatures that come up. I mean, if you like Pokemon games, monster collection, creature collection games, this looks like a really solid one. It doesn't look like one that was just kind of slapped together. It looks really good. I do like the design of most of the monsters and creatures in here. I think they are a little more interesting compared to something like Pokemon. They don't look as kiddie as some of those monsters do. You have some pretty weird stuff in here. But overall, I think this one is worth keeping an eye out on. There is a demo available if you want to check it out and play it first. But this is coming out March 31st. And the final game for the list is going to be Indie's Lies. I think that's how this is pronounced. It's a weird name. But this is a roguelike deck building game that actually looks really good. This is currently available. You can play like the early access on mobile, and it does have fairly good reviews there. I personally just wanted to wait until it came to desktop. So depending on the price, like I may pick it up on desktop or I may go check it out on mobile first. But in general, this is very like Slay the Spire-ish with a lot of, different elements and aspects added on to kind of make it unique. I think the art style for it is really good. A big thing for me with games like this is like aesthetically they need to look cool, and the card design needs to be good. And I do think that the card design for this game does look pretty good, like the actual aesthetic of the cards itself. So there's like a lot going on here. As you get into it, there's different characters and stuff that you can use, which is a good sign. It's always good when you are able to pick from a couple different characters that have different effects and different strengths and weaknesses. So that's what we have for the months of March. This game's coming out on March 31st. That's going to cap it off. So I hope that maybe you found something that was interesting to you in this video. If you do, let me know in the comment section below. If you feel like I really missed something that I should have seen, let me know that as well. And if you decide to pick up and play any of these games, I'd love to hear what you think about all of them, because chances are I'm not going to get around to playing every single one of them. Just to recap for you guys, for me, I'm definitely excited about Jack Move Icebreaker. Super excited about Young Souls actually finally releasing. Forward the Escape the Fold, great demo. Really enjoyed this game. Definitely going to pick it up unless it's like $20 or something. And then outside of that, for me, I'll be checking out Indie's Lies depending on the price. So we got some stuff coming out this month. It should be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how all these games turn out and kind of what the reaction of the community is. Definitely going to be paying attention to those reviews and whether they come out positive, mixed, etc. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning into the video. Hope you have a great and enjoyable day. I'll see you on the next video.